Jurassic World Evolution 3 just revealed the first new species coming to the base game, the Lokiceratops. It's the return of the species profiles, now called Dinosaur Showcases, and in this video we're gonna go through the showcase for this awesome new species, and definitely stay tuned for more new species to be revealed this way.
Meet the Lokiceratops, one of the most spectacular horned dinosaurs you can add to your park. With its huge, colourful frill and curved horns, this recently discovered ceratopsian is guaranteed to be a guest favourite. Watch them show off. These social dinosaurs display fascinating territorial behaviours that guests love to observe. They thrive in small groups and can share space with other peaceful herbivores, just provide plenty of room and vegetation. Powerful, distinct, unmissable. The Lokiceratops is a captivating headline attraction for any new park.
We were a little worried that Frontier might skip on the species profiles to spare some expense, but in fact the dinosaur showcases are better than the past species profiles or species field guides that we've gotten, at least in terms of length. This clip is almost a minute, whereas the Jurassic World Evolution 2 species field guides were roughly about half a minute long. So we're getting a lot more footage here to sink our teeth into. And right at the start, what I want to praise is the skin for the Lokiceratops. I mean, the model overall as well, but for me personally, I trust Frontier to do well with the models of these animals. However, the skins sometimes leave a little bit to be desired. This skin, however, does not. I'm very happy with this skin. Skins are very important to me. If you know me, then you know that. But yeah, I love the color on the crest, and you know, that's gonna play into the sexual dimorphism, I think at least. I think it's pretty safe to say that the male is gonna have all of these colors on the crest, and you see some striping on the back as well. There's even striping on the horns, and I'm assuming that the female is going to be less colorful. You can see she lacks the color on the crest, she lacks the color on the body, and she also doesn't have that striping on the horn. We also see the cute little baby doing a little, I don't know, looking for attention from its mom. It's so adorable. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to go back to this look inside the hatchery, and one of the things that I'm very relieved to see is that we're gonna have a return of the search function. Search was something that they didn't add to the hatcheries of Jurassic World Evolution 2 until like a free update down the line, and there's always stuff that you gotta worry that they're forgetting to put into the base game of the next one. We saw that with Jurassic World Evolution 1 to Jurassic World Evolution 2, there were some sandbox settings that were inexplicably lost from the first game to the second game, so I'm always like keeping my eyes out for confirmation that certain quality of life things are returning, and yeah, we have the search function right there. So the hatchery, it gives us our preview of the Lokiceratops, it gives us some information on its stats, there's an extra info button that I think is going to take us to the database, and of course we have the familiar functions of modifying the genome and beginning the synthesis of the species. In the footage of the Lokiceratops out in the park, we see them interacting with their offspring, with each other, and as said in the voiceover, they're gonna have territorial disputes, which we also get a first look at of two Lokiceratops battling it out for territory, and looking at it, like, one of them is like has the distinct coloration, and the other one, well, it does actually have the striping on the horn, so I am assuming that they are both males, even though one of them is decidedly less colorful. But yeah, based on the fact that it does have striping on the horn, I'm assuming that these are both males. The narration also specifically states that our guests love to observe these behaviors. I'm not gonna read into that too much in terms of, you know, what this means for like the animals' appeal towards our guests. That might just be a little sauce in the narration. I'm not exactly sure that this is going to, affect the appeal rating, and that this is what guests are going to be specifically asking for when they come to our parks, that they're going to be specifically asking for animals to perform certain behaviors, so we'd need to make animals that display those types of behaviors. I'm not going to draw any conclusions based on that. The showcase also gives us a little bit of information about the cohabitation of Lokiceratops, which is that it can coexist with other peaceful herbivores, it specifically states. So in this clip we see it with Ankylosaurus, which is the first time we see Ankylosaurus in the flesh. It was, you know, soft confirmed through the fact that we saw a statue for the Ankylosaurus, but here it is out in the park. And we have the return of the Brachiosaurus, which we've been seeing a lot within the marketing. So unfortunately, aside from the Lokiceratops, obviously, no other new species have been confirmed. But yeah, you can see that you can make a lovely natural habitat with these varied species cohabitating. And I do really mean that it looks lovely. What we also see here is the use of deep water, and the Lokiceratops in the back is drinking out of the deep water. So that's, it might be like an insane thing to focus on, but just a little note that, yeah, the deep water is also going to be water that they drink from. So you don't have to use both. You don't have to use both deep and shallow water within your habitats to satisfy, you know, the hydration need of your animals. Aside from what looks to be a new building peeking behind the trees in the background, there's nothing really new within the showcase, aside from the obvious again, the Lokiceratops itself. So it doesn't reveal a whole lot more about the game than just this species. I kind of do hope that, you know, future dinosaur showcases are going to give us, you know, that little bit, that hint of more information, you know, showing us new decorations maybe in the background, new buildings, new mechanics, stuff like that. Like secretly sprinkle those into these showcases. But this is a beautiful one to start with. I will say a lot of people were expecting and hoping the first species profile, or in this case species showcase, to be the Triceratops, because it's kind of tradition at this point. Triceratops was the first in Jurassic World Evolution 1 to get showcased, and it was the first to get a species profile for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And I guess Frontier just sort of put a modern spin on that tradition. They did go with a Ceratopsian. They just went with a new Ceratopsian, not just new to the game, but also, as said in the narration, a relatively newly discovered species, which I think makes it a really fun choice, not just to add to the game, but also to show in this very first species showcase. I'm very excited to see what other species they will be revealing and showing us more about with these videos. And if you are too, then subscribe to the channel, because of course I'm gonna keep you up to date on all of the news surrounding Jurassic World Evolution 3. Let me know in a comment down below which species you hope or think will be next to be revealed. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, stay tuned for more news.